All right, we're back on the El Camino. Today, I think we're gonna get this frame stripped down, get it ready for paint, pull this gas tank off, all the suspension's gotta come out, get it suspended somehow, maybe jack stands on one end and just hanging from the cherry picker on the other. I'm just gonna give it a quick wire wheel and then probably hit it with some red oxide primer and then get it ready for paint. So it's actually not too bad. Looks worse than it is. So let's get going. First thing I'm gonna do is pull this gas tank out. Already tried unscrewing it and the strap started twisting on me. So it's gonna get cut. Let's get going. Oh shit, there's still some gas in here. These lines here are actually for factory air shocks that these early El Caminos had. I have a line here that teed in over on this side. Got the T there. This hooks up to a line that went up inside the cab. Tees off, goes to either side. And this used to go to the factory air shocks. All of these El Caminos, and I learned this recently, had these. And I thought, well, maybe it was an option. But I always thought that was something aftermarket that somebody put on. Because it kind of doesn't look factory. Like, why would the factory just drill a random hole in your car and put a air chuck in it? But apparently, it is original. Like I said, maybe it's an option. I don't know. So gas tank is out. Talked about this last time. This was all torn out and ripped. Welds cracked here and here. Got a crack here. Kind of torn right here. Another crack here. So today I'm going to try and grind all this down, kind of hammer it back together, V it out a little bit, and weld it. Let me take apart a little bit more of this frame before I get into that. Maybe at least get the front suspension off, maybe the rear end. We'll see how far I get here. So I kind of just started V'ing this out because I was just going to weld it as it sits. And then I realized that this busted off down here at the bottom too. And it has so much spring to it, I really can't hammer on this thing. So I think I'm just gonna cut it out entirely, where I can get it on the ground and hammer it flat. I'm not at my house with my shop, so I kind of limited on tools and stuff. So I think I'm just gonna cut this thing out so I can put it on the ground and beat on it, get it flat, and then weld up these cracks. Because I don't got a hammer. I got a hammer. I don't got a dolly. I don't know how else I'm going to do this, so I'm just going to cut it out. I'll just weld it back in. I always unplug these things before I change them. And I've never used the tool on those things. I always just do it by hand. And I've never had one fly off. And it ain't gonna happen today. So don't jinx me. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No problem. Look at that. Easy peasy. All right, let's see if I can beat the hell out of this thing and get it good enough. A block of wood would be nice. Nice block of wood. Only got a couple spiders on it. Look at that, brand new. Oh shit. This thing is weak. All right, that's what I wanted. So now this piece is nice and flush together the way it should be. What I'm probably gonna do is gonna weld this up first. I'll start here and weld this to the point where it touches, and that way this will be strong and won't move, and then I can tweak this last bit. So, where's my welder? Let me fire that thing up. All right, the welder I'm using here is a little Lincoln 110, just a little baby welder. With welding metal this thick, you could just crank this thing, man, all the way. This thing's mainly for sheet metal. If I will have to weld anything thick with this one, I usually preheat the metal first. Crank that thing up. Let's see how it does here. This metal's not that thick, but I cranked it anyway. And being out here in the wind, most of my gas will probably blow away. So the welds will probably be crappy, but it's cool. I got a grinder. I can fix that. Sometimes I'll either cut this or I'll just arc it on the ground. Boom. Let's see what it does. Wire speed way too fast, way too fast. Oh yeah, there we go. Like a last. Good. Story. All right, there it is. All welded up. Did get a little poppy and kind of weird because it is windy out here. As soon as a gush of wind would come, the gas from the welder would just blow away and start to get kind of shitty. But like I said, we got a grinder. We'll make it look pretty. Shit, there it goes, dented it again. Safety first around here. Look at that, man. It's cherry. Better than factory. All right, let's see how it fits on the car. Lines up with my cut marks. Every once in a while, my welds look decent. let me get out in front of this thing. Try to make these ones look pretty because I'm not going to grind these. Let's get a little bit more. Ooh, let me hammer that guy down a bit. Nice. I gotta get this bottom side here, but it's not touching like it should on this side. I don't know if I got a clamp, maybe a strap or something. This side's good. Yeah, that side's pretty far. Where are we at? See that nice big gap right here? That's what I need to try to fix. Let's see if we get some redneck engineering here. Yeah, look at that big gap. Looks even worse at this camera angle. Look at that. Not filling that will weld. Maybe just here? All right, watch the magic. Or is this gonna go horribly wrong and I'll look like an idiot? I'll edit it out if that happens. All right. Oh, shit, sorry. Nice, perfect. Camera angle's still good. All right. This is where the weld cracks. A little bit of a booger on there. All right, let me show you what I got done here. This side all welded up. Like I said, every once in a while, my welds look okay. That's where I welded here in the center. Smooth that off with the grinder. Underneath. Let's see here. Doesn't look as pretty on the inside. I'm gonna grind that up a little bit. Nobody will ever see it. Over here, halfway decent. Down underneath here. Not bad. Good enough. This thing looks relatively straight too. So I think now I'm gonna start disassembling this frame and start wire wheeling the rust off of it so I can get it ready for primer. Got some red oxide primer I'm gonna put on this thing. Let's get going. All right, time to start tearing this thing apart. Oh shit, look, I already ripped my glove. I don't even get started and I ripped my glove. All right, let's get going. All right, well, let's see. All right, let's see how well this wire wheel works. I'm just trying to knock off the heavier rust and kind of smooth it out because I'm just going to prime right over a lot of this stuff with some red oxide. Let's see what happens. All right, let me try and find the center of gravity on this thing so I can kind of hang it while I paint it. I don't know if it's gonna work, but we're gonna find out together. I'm actually surprised at how good that went. I got a little bit more cleaning up to do, and then I think I'll start mixing up some primer and just bomb this thing. We'll see how it goes. This is the stuff I'm using. Rust-Oleum, what the hell is this? Rusty Metal Primer. This is a budget build. I read a lot of good things about this stuff on the interwebs. I'm gonna see how good it works. I read different things about mix ratio. Some people say 4:1, some people say 2:1, some people say 1:1. So I'm gonna go 4:1 first and see if that's thin enough to spray, and then go from there. So on these paint mixing cups, it's pretty simple actually. This column here, 4:1. So if I want this much paint, that's how much paint I put it in, and that's how much reducer I put in on the second number 2. So it's super easy. So let's go 4:1. Let's dump it. Let's go to that number 2. And boom. Thinning it with acetone. Sometimes they say to use mineral spirits, sometimes they say to use acetone, and I've learned that that's kind of just depends on what kind of dry time you're looking at. Mineral spirits are going to evaporate a lot slower, so the dry time is going to be a lot slower. So I want to go acetone, so I want it to, because I want it to dry faster. All right, here we go. See if this is thin enough to spray. Maybe might have to go a little bit thinner. It's windy as hell today, so this is probably gonna go terribly. It looks thin enough. Ooh, oh Jesus, making a mess. Thin enough. Using my handy dandy Harbor Freight spray gun. $16.99. $9.99 on sale. Let's practice on this gas tank. We got it sitting here. Spray's pretty good. So let's see what happens. Here I was so damn excited to get color on this frame, get it sprayed, that I didn't even put on my respirator. So if you're watching this and you plan on doing this yourself, please wear a respirator. Don't be a dummy like me. I just had a few hours to dry, and it's dry. It dried super fast, way faster than I expected. That's probably because I used the acetone instead of the mineral spirits. So I'm just gonna go ahead and coat it with the black today. I just mixed them up, did a quickie clean on the gun. Just gonna go for it, see what happens. All right, so that's it. I'm all done. I got the primer done, let it dry, and then I went ahead and did one coat of the black. I also used Rust-Oleum in the core, thinned it down with some acetone again. I did a few coats up front here. I went real heavy on the front on the stuff that you see the most, you know, when the hood's up. Turned out pretty good. I actually like thinning down Rust-Oleum and spraying it out of a gun. It actually turns out really good. It's not great for painting a whole car because it doesn't have any real UV protection, so it'll fade out pretty quick. But for undercarriage stuff like this, it's great. Sprays on great. Anybody can spray it. Not a lot of orange peel. It just comes out really nice. And it's cheap. It's like 16 bucks a quart. I mean, I really can't complain about this. Looks, I don't know if it's as good as powder coat, but it looks damn good, at least for what this car is going to be. Well, that's it for this one. On the next video, I think I'm going to clean up the rear end and the suspension and paint that. Maybe if it's dry in time, I'll get around to reassembly. I doubt it though. Maybe clean up that firewall and paint that, just so that's ready to go. But for today, I'm happy with the progress I made. I got the frame stripped down, cleaned up with a wire wheel, kind of half-ass, primered and painted. So looking forward to putting this thing back together and getting that body on the frame very soon. So we'll see you on the next one.